Emergency teams work round the clock to rescue survivors after the collapse of a dam in southern Ukraine as the first 3 deaths are reported.
The European Commission takes legal action against Poland as it tries blocking a law that could allow its ruling party to undermine the electability of opposition politicians.
The first confirmed deaths after the breach of the Kakova Dam in southern Ukraine have been reported. 3 people are said to have drowned in occupied parts of Kherson Oblast. Police rescue teams are working night and day, using inflatable boats to navigate the inundated streets of Kherson and the surrounding districts, searching for people stranded by the flooding. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has called on international aid organisations to take immediate action to help people struggling to survive.
Зараз потрібна чітка і швидка реакція світу на те, що відбувається. Навіть неможливо встановити достеменно, скільки людей на окупованій тимчасово території Херсонщини можуть загинути без порятунку, без питної води, без їжі, без медичної допомоги. Наші військові та спецслужби настільки, наскільки це можливо, попри обстріли, рятують людей.
The EU says it is responding, channeling aid via its civil protection mechanism, with first offers from Germany, Austria and Lithuania. The help includes water filters, generators and mud water pumps. In addition, there are offers of shelter equipment, including tents, beds and blankets. Russia says it's deploying rescuers and aid equipment to the areas within the Kherson region that it controls. Both Moscow and Kyiv are blaming each other for the dam collapse. International reaction is to wait for more evidence. In his first public reaction to the disaster, President Vladimir Putin has called the destruction a barbaric act.
The European Commission is launching an infringement procedure against Poland to block a law that could allow its ruling party to undermine the electability of opposition leader Donald Tusk. The bill, which many consider unconstitutional, foresees the creation of a state commission to investigate Russia's influence on the internal security of Poland. And this would be without any judicial oversight and run by a chair appointed by the Prime Minister.
The College agreed to start an infringement procedure by sending a letter of formal notice in relation to the new law on the State Committee for Examination of Russian Influence.
Brussels and Washington worry the committee could be used to target politicians in the run-up to the country's general election later this year. The procedure could eventually lead to financial sanctions against Poland, which is the strongest card the EU's executive arm could play, as one expert explains.
The biggest success that the European Union has in the recent years was with holding back the recovery fund. 36 billion euro, a magnitude higher amount, and that has prompted Poland last year to revise the law on judiciary, to remove some parts of the muzzle law, to disband the disciplinary chamber. What we see clearly from the last few years is that the only way it works with the current Polish government is when financial pressure is being applied. And then we see some success.
The letter is expected to be sent on Thursday, after which Poland will have 3 weeks to respond.
The Vatican has confirmed there were no complications after Pope Francis underwent surgery for intestinal obstruction. The 86-year-old pontiff was admitted to the Gemelli Hospital in Rome on Wednesday morning and was put under general anaesthesia. He will stay in hospital for several days.
È la seconda volta dopo il 2021 che Papa Francesco si sottopone ad un intervento all'addome, un intervento che però questa volta si è reso necessario, riferisce il Vaticano, a causa dei dolori ricorrenti accusati dal pontefice. Così ha deciso l'equipe di medici che lo segue presso l'ospedale Gemelli di Roma. Stando a quanto riferito dal Vaticano, il Papa dovrà trascorrere diversi giorni in ospedale dopo l'operazione per garantire il pieno recupero delle condizioni fisiche. Sappiamo anche che questo intervento è stato deciso dopo un ultimo controllo avvenuto nella giornata di martedì. Le condizioni di salute del pontefice sono state di recente al centro delle cronache dopo l'ultimo ricovero avvenuto a marzo per problemi respiratori. Giorgia Orlandi, Euronews, Roma.
This is the front lines of Germany's push for tighter migration controls. Its border with Poland will see an increase in police presence and checks. Officials say there's a spike in people going through irregular routes from Poland. Euronews asked a police officer at the border if they were looking for migrants. The officer said they were looking out for any offense. People are supposed to be sent to reception centers like this one if they want to apply for asylum. One Syrian staying at the center said he crossed from Poland to Germany to be with family who have settled in the country.
بسبب الحرب وما ظل مستقبل هناك وما في أمان ما في مي ما في كهرباء سوريا يعني ما في مستقبل أبدا.
A German refugee rights group says 70% of people who apply for asylum in Germany get protection status.
So we definitely have a strong concern that increased police presence does not mean more protection for the people, but could actually lead to more rejections at the border of people who actually have a proper claim for asylum in Germany.
Germany's Interior Ministry told Euronews that people intercepted at the border are always given the possibility to submit a request for asylum or protection. There were more than 4,000 unauthorized entries from Poland to Germany in the first 3 months of this year. The German government says decreasing irregular migration is a priority. All this comes as the far-right AfD is rising in the polls.
The German government says it wants to work with the Polish government to increase border controls, but some local politicians say they want stronger measures. They want the police to have the power to turn people away or to have permanent border checks.
The head of the conservative Christian Democrats in the Parliament of Brandenburg, which borders Poland, says he wants the authorities to be given the right to deny entry to people who are crossing.
We are not speaking about Ukrainian people. There are only few Ukrainian people coming to Poland and to Germany up to now. These are people from everywhere in the world, from Africa, from Syria, from Afghanistan, from the Middle East.
Back at the reception center, people's future in the country is unknown, but hope remains.
ألمانيا من 10 سنين وهي عم تستقبل اللاجئين وهي بلد كويس كثير مع السوريين وعائلتي هون هم نصحوني بألمانيا يعني وألمانيا يعني أنا حابها وشايف إنه ألمانيا بلد جميل وفي إنسانية كثيرة هون.
Thousands of England's West Ham United and Italy's Fiorentina fans descended on Prague to experience the Conference League final for themselves, not only in the stadium but in fan zone setup around the city. The crowd in the Hammers area was especially lively when Jared Bowen scored the decisive goal in the 90th minute to give his team a 2-1 win. After 8 minutes of agonizing extra time, London fans could finally start celebrating their first European title in nearly 60 years. They then began a triumphal march through Prague. Under police supervision, celebrations continued until the early morning.
Po oslavách vítězství ve fanzóně na Letné se fanoušci přemístili do historického centra města. Tady na ně celou dobu dávala pozor policie.
It is forbidden to cover your face and use pyrotechnics. In case of disobedience of this call, you may be subject to law enforcement action.
I have waited 46 years for this moment and I am ecstatic. Did I cry? Yes, I did. What an absolutely fantastic night it is for West Ham. A whole lot.
It's a hard loss, but it was a fair game. Bad goal in the 19th minute.
It's not very easy to make a piece to camera here. You see, this is Skácel, Euronews, Praha.
As Canada deals with a series of intense wildfires that have spread from the western provinces of Quebec, wind has carried the smoke southwards, triggering air quality alerts through the United States. In New York City, smoke has surrounded the skyline in an orange hue, darkening the midday skies over the city. Health warnings went out as the thick haze forced public schools to close outdoor activities and grounded planes due to low visibility.
Planet Ocean, tides are changing. That's the theme of this year's United Nations World Oceans Day, being celebrated today, June the 8th. And experts say things are indeed changing in our oceans that cover 70% of the globe and are so crucial to human and animal existence. Rising temperatures, overfishing and plastics all threaten our seas.
We are seeing impacts across the globe and disproportionately in countries that haven't been the emitters of greenhouse gases. But alongside that, we're seeing local impacts of fisheries. These might be unreported, unregulated, or poorly regulated fisheries, which are having direct impact on the ocean. And what we know is when we have those multiple stresses that are layering up on each other, this is creating a massive impact on the ocean, how it functions, and the benefits that it provides for us and the entire globe.
Plastic is a visible and obvious threat. Other dangers like global warming are not. Average ocean surface temperatures have risen about 0.13 degrees centigrade per decade over the past 100 years, according to the US National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
There's two really big things we can do to help, and one is to reduce global emissions. We need to do that immediately, and also to set up large-scale protected areas.
Last week, global negotiators agreed to craft a draft treaty to end plastic pollution, a preliminary but crucial step. Environmental advocates cautiously welcomed the outcome of 5 days of UN talks in Paris, but expressed concern that the petroleum industry and some governments would water down the eventual treaty. Most plastic is made from fossil fuels.